lecture at 6. So the quiz is at 5:30. We'll take it right away, and then that way this whole unit is done, and we'll move on to unit 2. And we'll get started on that. So that's kind of how that's going to feel. There's 20 questions, multiple choice. It's pretty straightforward. You do not need Scantrons. I'm going to give you the quiz. You're going to write on the quiz. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a very quick review, and you're going to take as much notes as you can. I've told you throughout as we've gone, make sure you know this, make sure you know this. So hopefully you've been taking notes throughout. I won't repeat myself, and I won't go back. So do the best you can to get what you can, and then you might want to study the part. All right? So make sure you know the definition of lifespan development. Of course, that's the name of the class. We talked about cohort effects. Make sure that you're aware of what that means and those definitions. We looked at sensitive periods and critical periods. Make sure that you understand the difference between those terms. I think that was in chapter 3 that we looked at. We did look at the different stages of labor, so make sure you can distinguish between the first, second, and third stage of labor, what's happening during that. We looked at the Apgar scale, make sure that you know the different scales with that, what it measures and what they stand for. Let's see. We talked about the rate. I told you there was a slide that had how much they grow during the first year of life, they double, triple, whatever. Make sure that you look at that slide, you know the specific numbers on that. We also looked at the definition of the setoclophal and the proximal distal terms. Make sure that you know what those mean. Let's see. We talked about the best food options during the first year of life. We looked at Piaget stages tonight. Covered that tonight. We looked at, let me see. Okay, make sure you know the difference between assimilation and accommodation, as well as what the term schema means. You might want to look that up in your book. The difference between the information processing approach versus Piaget's approach. And then let's see, with the information processing approach, we looked at the 3 parts of that. Make sure that you know what those 3 parts of the information processing are, as well as what the difference is between those 3 parts. Let's see, look at primary emotions and secondary emotions and at what age they begin. Social smiling, what it means and when it starts. Let's see. The ability to distinguish between vocalizations. I gave you some specifics on that when we were talking about language development. If you didn't write them down, you might want to look them up in your book. Let's see. Okay, then with attachment, let's see. So I showed you, we looked at Bowlby's, Ainsworth, and Harlow's. Make sure that you know the different tests that each of them did and what they were assessing for, and then the different styles of attachment. I have a little description, and you're going to tell me what type of attachment it is. And then, I didn't talk about temperament, but there is one question about temperament. But if you know the definition of it, you read that little section, you should be able to get the question pretty easily.